knowledge.
Being that it is now 6 p.m. on Tuesday, October 24th, 2017, I'll call to order the Board of Selectmen's meeting. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This evening on our agenda is to make recommendations for the warrant articles for the special town meeting on October 30th, 2017 at 7 p.m. at Bartlett High School.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can I make just a couple announcements before we dive into
Sure.
this? So the first one is that we are missing one of the electronic voting clickers. So if you attended town meeting, who's ever watching, and you accidentally put it in your pocket and brought it home, please return that to us.
No questions asked.
No questions asked. If not, we can turn that one off, and so you can't vote for it with it. So it's absolutely of no use. So please bring it back. Another quick announcement: we have the Webster, Dudley, Oxford Chamber of Commerce is having a business expo at Indian Ranch right now. So if we get out of this quickly, you can run over there. But it's a great opportunity to see some of the businesses. Several were from Webster, and it's a great way to show support for them.
Motion to adjourn.
And there's also clam chowder. And last of all, as you're aware, the police department had a busy night last night, and I just want to thank them and their efforts, and also the SEMLAC, the SWAT team from the regional SWAT team, for their efforts to help the man who is struggling, and it's great. They certainly saved his life, and want to give a shout out and thanks to them. So we'll turn over to the warrant. Article 1 is the standard report and recommendations. Article 2 is to cover any minor clerical typos, things that the committee has determined to be moderate or less severe, I would say. So we had Chairman Gabor met with us a couple of months ago to go through that. If you want more details, we can go over it, but they're quite minor, and all those changes are listed on the website right now. Article 3, this essentially takes the Board of Assessors, the Treasurer, and the Collector, and makes them appointed positions by the Board of Selectmen rather than the currently elected. Also, currently we have an actual Board of Assessors. We'd be doing away with the Board of Assessors and just appointing a Chief Assessor. The Article 4, this reduces the Finance Committee membership from 15 to 9. Article 5 is to increase the Board of Health membership from 3 to 5, and we would remain, 3 would be elected and 2 would be appointed by the town administrator. Article 6 is to create a Water and Sewer Commission. They would be responsible for setting rates and hearing appeals and granting those. And then, so that's all the charter related articles. So are there any questions on those while we have the chairman here and other members of the committee?
Through the chair, there are a number of other changes that are being requested. So those are going to be handled under Article 2, or they'll be described as they are, I think, on the website now. But those aren't listed here because those were considered more minor.
Right, and so those passing those would be encompassed in Article 2.
Okay. I did have one question on one of those that's not listed here. Mr. Gabor knows the one I'm referring to. I think I came and talked about that with regards to recalls.
Change from 25 to 50.
And what I'm a little bit confused about in reading the other documentation, it appears as though the language got changed from 25% of the voters to 25%, and this is what I need clarification on. It doesn't say 25% of the voters now, it says 25% of those at the last election. So that would seem to me, are we looking to then say 25% of 1,200, if only 1,200 voted in the last election? which to me is significantly less of a hurdle than previously, which would have been 25% of, let's say, 8,000. So what is the change that we're looking for there?
It was 25% of the registered voters based on the last election, not voters, registered.
Okay, not those that voted, because I think there might be, if we can just
I don't
have you take a look
Yeah.
and maybe have Doug take a look.
Yeah,
It seems not that clear to me. I would hope it would be what it was before, of registered voters, not of those who voted in the previous. Got it. Yep,
but so, yeah.
So if we can just check the language.
Number of registered voters at the last election.
That's the
is
intent. That's the intent, great, thank
Yeah.
you. That was the only question I had.
Any other questions or comments?
I will say I strongly recommend approval of all of the articles. I think that the committee has done a great job reviewing these and putting a lot of time and effort in, and legal counsel has been very much involved in the process, and I think it's a very good document.
I would echo the work the committee's done, and certainly the chairman, because it was quite a grand task.
A lot of typing involved.
So to the board, do we want to,
1 through 6, Mr. Chairman?
do we want to vote on each article individually, or do we want to just vote
What else?
1 through 6?
I'll make a motion that we accept on the town administrator's recommendation, we do the charter changes from 1 to 6, I believe.
All right,
Am I
so
right, Doug?
so you do a motion for selectmen to recommend approval of Articles 1 through 6.
Correct.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and second. Any discussion? If not, Jen, will you poll the board?
Selectman Bork?
Yes.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes.
Okay, Article 7, as you're aware, we had the water treatment plant go out to bid. The bids came back a little higher than we were expecting. A lot of that was due to construction, inflation. So I've been meeting with the engineers and trying to determine the best options for moving forward. So it was suggested at our last meeting that perhaps we should rebid this. So we talked with the engineers, and we contacted several other engineering companies or project management firms. We also contacted several projects that have been rebid in the last several months. Actually, all the ones that we contacted, they came back and said when they rebid them, the project came back more expensive. And I feel, and based on the engineer's recommendation, they feel strongly that a very similar thing would likely happen because the inflation rate is for construction is quite high right now. So our other option is to go back and either ask for the $500,000 more at the town meeting, or we can potentially value engineer some of the items down. So after meeting with the designers, we feel like we can value engineer $150,000 down, and then I would make the recommendation that we would take $350,000 from retained earnings to fund the rest of the project. We have enough to fund the actual construction budget, but there would be no room for contingency. So if anything happened, then it would be difficult because we'd have to hold a special town meeting to ask for more money at that time, which would delay the project and would cost us further issues. If for some reason this did not pass at town meeting, we could, couple options. At that point, we could rebid it, although I don't recommend that. We could also, right now, there's like 4 filters in the building. We could do just 3 of them right now, and then as time passes, we can build that in slowly through the operating budget to fill the last one. That will cost a little bit more in the long run because you're doing it slowly over time, but if town meeting decides that they don't want to do that, that would be one option to complete the project. That 4th filter, while important right now, would serve more of a redundancy role. So if it weren't in line right now, it wouldn't be a problem. We would just want to get it in line in the next couple of years. obviously, it would be better for us to get the whole project approved at once. And I think that by using retained earnings, it lessens the impact on the tax, on the ratepayers. And it's, I think it'll be a smoother transition, easier way to get it approved at town meeting. And, yeah.
Couple
Any
questions.
questions?
So the, with regards to contingencies, is, I guess, more of a comment that because we're building a new plant, not tearing down much,
Yeah.
it's not like redoing the fire station, you're not gonna run into things, so that seems as though contingencies would be relatively small. If we are not successful with regards to the town meeting, I would assume then you'd have to have a change order,
Mm-hmm.
and then they would pipe it to accept that fourth filter.
Yep, so, yeah, the fourth filter is part of the project, so it would be piped, but yeah, we'd take a change order to put the actual filter part in would be removed out of it.
And the $500,000, we were originally, I think, going to ask for additional borrowing, correct?
So the article was stated that it could be either way. At that time, we didn't have retained earnings certified yet, so now that we do, we have 650,000, so using 350,000, meeting with the superintendent and the engineer, we feel like that'll be a safe amount to have as retained earnings.
That was my last question. What was, I thought it was 650.
Any other questions from the board? If not, is there a motion to recommend approval of Article 7?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion and second. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, just one other
Sure.
question for Doug, if he could. I know that I had read and forwarded on to Doug the Shrewsbury report, and just to make sure if we can talk to our engineering firm, they used a different medium than, and they analyzed 3 different ones, one of which was the one we're
Yeah.
going to use. And I would just ask Doug, to have a conversation with our firm and look at that report that we saw from Shrewsbury. It was at their September 16 town meeting. It was a very good report.
Yeah, they made a very good case for taking an alternate that we did not decide upon, so we want to just go back and make sure that
Absolutely.
that was
It's a good one.
analyzed and looked at.
Because it did have significantly less back flushing, which would then mean less utilities.
Right.
And effectiveness, they said was equal, but
Yeah.
I'm not an expert. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other discussion? If not, Jen, will you poll the board?
Selectman Bork?
Yes.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. All right, being as there are no other items on the agenda, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, Jen, will you poll the board?
Selectman Bork?
Yes.
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. Thank you.
All right, go get your chowder. You have 17 minutes.